Hello everybody, I'm Jonathan from the Cambridge Swimming Company and welcome to this week's aerobic training where we are focusing on freestyle rotation.
I'm sure that the water won't mind if we rest here for the night and leave before sunrise.
Starting with the developing group and our aerobic set, we're going to make sure we warm up on the dry land, make sure we're stretched off, muscles are ready to go, jump in the pool and then continue our warm up with an easy choice 100 and then an easy freestyle 100 or slightly more than easy, just to kind of get your body ready for the main set and aerobic training we're coming. Then we're going to do some drills just to reinforce this rotation before we start. So we're going to start off with 50 of fist drill. So fist drill, as we've done before, we take our hands, we would normally swim like this, we're going to close our fists. And it's making sure we use our forearm as a paddle as we swim. But when we're doing this drill, I want you to focus on your rotation so that you can get that high vertical arm. So if you're just putting it in there, you're not using as much of your leverage as you can. So you want to rotate to 45 degrees as you're reaching forward and then use the fist drill to pull back. Either side, so 50 of fist drill, then 50 of 6-1-6. So 6-1-6 is 6 kicks, 1 stroke, 6 kicks, 1 stroke. So we're swimming along the pool at 45 degrees with our 6 kicks. We take 1 stroke to swap and then we swim along at 45 degrees, 6 kicks, 1 stroke to swap. Do that for 50 and then fingertip drag for 50. So fingertip drag is where we are working on our recovery, but I want you to think about using your rotation to make the recovery easier. So if you rotate to that 45 degrees, as you bring your arm up through the recovery and drag your fingertips along the surface, by being rotated that makes it much easier to do that. If you're straight and flat in the water with your shoulders level, it's much harder to get your elbow up and there's a lot more pressure on your shoulder, so it just makes it easier if you rotate. Then 6-3, 6-50, so 6 kicks, 3 strokes, 6 kicks, similar to the 6-1-6, but you're just doing 3 strokes instead of 1. Again, 45 degrees, make sure you're doing that rotation. And as the three strokes, you're still rotating through the 3. And then a 50 freestyle to finish the drills, just to kind of reinforce everything you've done. And we're doing that twice, so then repeat. Then into our main set, and it's a very simple aerobic pyramid this week, because we're trying to work on our aerobic base in these sets. So it's just a very straightforward 5 freestyles, 100, 200, 300, and then back down the other side, 200, 100. That's all at 80%. So take breaks between them, but don't take massive breaks because this is about aerobic base. You want to keep going. And then an easy freestyle to finish. So 1700, so slightly down on last week's distance, but it's good to vary it sometimes. And then make sure you cool down in the pool, stretch off a little bit, have a little relax, maybe have a little bit of an extra swim if you need to. And if you're one of those hardy souls that's still in the Lido, I think you could still go in the sauna and have a little warm up in there. All done, everyone? And I will see you all for the technique and speed sessions where we will carry on this rotation work. If you want to get involved in our technical and speed sessions, they'll be coming up later in the week on our Patreon channel, which is patreon.com/CamSwim Club. I would love to see you all there. The experienced aerobic group, we're working on rotation and we're starting off with our warm-up on the dry land. So make sure you're warmed up, ready to go, stretched off before you jump in the pool. And an easy choice 100 and then up that intensity to about 70% for a 200 of freestyle, just to really kind of get the blood pumping. Then we're going to do some drills. We'll jump in the pool. We're going to do 50 of fist drill. But I said we're working on rotation. So I want you to really think about rotating 45 degrees as we're swimming our freestyle to make this fist drill easier. So as you rotate, you're reaching forward and you're reaching as far as you can. You rotate to 45 degrees and that allows you to get the leverage to pull. Remember, fist drill, we're closing our fist and we're using the forearm as a paddle, but we can really kind of get the pressure we need on that forearm by using our rotation. If we're just staying flat, it's much harder to get that power through the stroke. And 6-1-6, so 6 kicks, 1 stroke, 6 kicks as we swim along. So make sure you're 45 degrees, 1 stroke, swaps over, 45 degrees, 1 stroke, swaps over, 45 degrees for 50, and then fingertip drag for 100. And again, we're using our rotation to make this recovery easier. So fingertip drag is working on the recovery. If we rotate, it's really easy to lift our shoulder up. If we're straight like this, there's much more pressure to try and get our elbow round and drag our fingers along the water. So if we rotate, it's Much easier, much more relaxed. Then a 50 of 636, so same as 616, but 6 kicks, 3 strokes, 6 kicks. But make sure, as you're doing the 3 strokes, that you're actually rotating through the 45 degrees, all the way through. And then a 50 of freestyle, just to put everything together, and then repeat all that again. And then our main set, really simple main set this week, it's just base aerobic training. So 80% freestyle, 5 freestyle sets, and it's 100, 200, 300, then back down the pyramid, 200, 100. So it's very simple to count, easy to do. You just need to focus on your form and keeping that rotation going. So reaching as far forward as you can with the rotation and using that rotation to pull back. And then after you finish the main set, 100 of choice and then a 200 of easy freestyle just to cool down as much as you can. Make sure you stretch off in the water, relax a little bit, swim a little bit more if you need to. If you're in the Lido in Cambridge, the sauna's always there for you to warm up afterwards. And that's 2,100 in total. So it's a good swim, everyone. And I'll see you all for the technique and speed sessions later in the week. If you want to get involved in our technical and speed sessions, they'll be coming up later in the week on our Patreon channel, which is patreon.com/CamSwim Club. I would love to see you all there. Okay, the advanced groups aerobic set. So as always, dryland warm up, make sure you're warm, stretched off, ready to go before you jump in the water. And then get in and do a 200 easy freestyle. And then a 200, just upping that intensity a little bit to 70% of freestyle. And then we've got a set of drills to do. I'm going to do these at 70%. And we're all working on rotation this week. So for all of these drills, that's what we're thinking, rotation, rotation. So 45 degrees to 45 degrees, head stays looking at the bottom of the pool. Right, so fist drill, we've got our hands close to our fists, and we use, so it makes us use the forearm as a paddle. So we're using rotation to make that reach as far forward as we can, and then we're using the rotation to add power. But for this group, what I want to think about with this drill, and then we'll use this as we go forward, is your fist goes in, and then you start by adding a little bit of pressure, and you feel the pressure on your paddle, and you're building that pressure as you come through the stroke to kind of and then you really max out, not max out, but use the most pressure you use in the stroke at about this point, and then push it through. So it's to avoid slipping, we're thinking about pressure, and we're feeling the pressure here. And then when we open our hand up later, you'll feel the difference as well. So that's fist drill for 100. Then 6, 1, 6. So 6 kicks, 1 stroke, swap over, 6 kicks, 1 stroke, swap over. Remember, 45 degrees when we're swapping. Head stays looking at the bottom of the pool. Obviously breathe. Fingertip drag. So fingertip drag is the recovery drill. We do it a lot, but we're dragging our fingertips along the surface of the water through the recovery, keeping it nice and relaxed. But if we try to do that with our shoulders level in the water, as we try and lift, there's a lot of pressure on the shoulder there. If you're rotating, it's much easier to get that elbow up and have a nice relaxed recovery. So 100 of that, and then 636 for 50, so it's just like 616, but with 3 strokes instead. So 6 kicks, 3 strokes, but make sure you're rotating for the strokes. 6 kicks, 3 strokes. 50 of that, and then 100 of freestyle just to put it all together. And then we're repeating those drills. And then we're in a pyramid main set, mixing up the distance a little bit just to keep it interesting, but it's fairly simple. So we're doing 5 sets of freestyle, some of them fairly big chunks, but this is the aerobic training. So for aerobic training, you need continuous swimming. So we're doing 100, these are all 80%. So freestyle for 100, then a 250, then a 400, and back down the pyramid. So then 250, finishing off with 100 at 80%. And then bring that intensity down, do a 200 of your choice stroke just to flush out the system, and then a 200 of real easy, relaxed freestyle to finish off. So that's 2,700 in total. Make sure you do your cool down in the pool, stretch off if you need to, swim a little bit more if you need to. And if you're in the Lido, there's always the sauna to warm up afterwards. Well done everyone, that's a good swim. And I'll see you all later in the week for the technique and speed sessions. If you want to get involved in our technical and speed sessions, they'll be coming up later in the week on our Patreon channel, which is patreon.com/CamSwim Club. I would love to see you all there.
I'm sure that the water won't mind if we rest here for the night and leave before sunrise.